This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Baruchim Habayim. Welcome everyone to a special edition of All Parsha and Parshas Tetzaveh. This year we're going to share a number of very important insights of the Ben Ashri, the Tzaddik of Ranana, Rabbi Yitzchak HaKohen Huberman, on Parshas Tetzaveh. Let us begin with his first piece that appears on page Kuf Ayin Ches in his Sefer, regarding the inyan that the name of Moshe Rabbeinu does not appear in Parshas Tetzaveh. This is pointed out by many Mefarshim. The Balaturim points out that Moshe Rabbeinu's name is not in the Parsha because the Balaturim says either Moshe Rabbeinu was mispalel mechenina misifracha, and the klala of a chacham is fulfilled even al Tanai, and even though Hashem did not destroy Klal Yisrael, nevertheless, since Moshe Rabbeinu said mechenina, his name does not appear. The Ben Ish Chai says it's specifically from Parshas Tetzaveh because he said misifracha misefer chaf, the 20th Parsha, and the Torah is Parshas Tetzaveh. However, the Ben Ashri offers a fantastic pshat. The conclusion of Parshas Chuma ended off, V'chol yistois hechatzer nechoshes. All the pegs of the courtyard were made out of copper. It's interesting. All of the chizuk of the Mishkan, it was strengthened, it was supported, it was founded upon copper, which is really the third and lower level of donation to the Mishkan. It's not as valuable as gold and silver. And who probably was the one who gave the copper? Someone who was a bit stingy, didn't want to give the gold, didn't want to give the silver. And they all could have afforded it. The Pasuk says in Tehillim Parak Kofei, Pasuk Lamed Zayin, that they left with gold and silver. So who's giving the copper already? Someone on a lower level. And Moshe Rabbeinu was bothered. How could all the chizuk of the chatzar be from the lowest level donation? So Hashem says, Ve'ata, and you. And you refers to your hidden element. Similar to what the Mefarshim say by Avraham Avinu, it says in the beginning of Vayera Elav, and he appeared to him. Who's the him? Say, El Avraham. No. The point is, there it specifically wanted to refer to the lowest, to the hidden, the inyan hanelam v'hanistar, the hidden concealed element of Avraham. Here too, Hashem is telling Moshe, I am appealing to your hidden element. Tetzaveh is a lashon of attachment. V'ata tetzaveh, I would like you to attach yourself. Es means with Bnei Yisrael, the simple Jews. This way, there will be kiyum, and there will be a substantial contribution from even the lower level of Klal Yisrael. So since Truma ends off with the donation of the copper, Hashem then tells Moshe, V'yata, and you, the hidden element, Tetzaveh, attach yourself, El Bnei Yisrael, to the lower element. This is why the Medrash Tanchuma in Parshas Tetzaveh begins darshaning the pasuk, Roishcha alecha kakarmel, your head is upon it like the Carmel, which we learn from there that the lowest among you are like Eliyahu Hanavi, who was Makriv on Hara Carmel. The pasuk continues in Shir Hashirim. This is the coming from the Hakdama of the Medrash Tanchuma and Parshas Tetzaveh. V'dalas roishcha ka'argamon, the poor among you are like Daniel, because the whole purpose is that the greatest should be able to elevate the lower element. We come now to the second offering of the Ben Ashri. V'yata tetzaveh es b'nei Yisrael. One who is a mashpia, one who is a Talmid Chacham, who teaches Torah to Klal Yisrael. What is the conduit through which all his Chachma and Torah comes? It's through his Talmidim. This is the simple meaning of what it says in Perkei Avos, and in Gemara in Masechta Tainis Daf Zayin, Umi Talmidai Yoser Mikulam. And from my students, more than all of them. And meaning, through one student, the conduit of one student is the channel through which Chachma comes down in Hashemayim. And in fact, the Hafla in his Hakdama to his Svarman Shas in the Panam Yafais explains, Umi Talmida Yosem Mikulam means through one student, one accesses Torah. So the Torah is advising the tzaddik, V'yata, and you, Tetzaveh, connect yourself, Es B'nei Yisrael, with the B'nei Yisrael. Then, V'yikchu, you will be able to take on their account V'yikchu, you will take because of them shemen zayis, beautiful chidushei Torah. Because by attaching yourself to all elements of Klal Yisrael, in that merit, one is zoicha to all kinds of Torah. And if you do that, kasus, make sure you humble yourself. You lower yourself. Lama'ar, that could spell out, lemar, when you say over the divrei Torah. In this way, you will be moitzei chen in the eyes of the listener. We offer now the third offering of the Ben La'ashri, V'yata Tetzaveh. The Medrash Rabbah says, this is a fruition of the Pasuk, Zayis Ra'anon, Hadahu Dechsiv, Yefei Noif, Mesois Kal Ha'aretz. Says the Medrash, a person would enter the Beis HaMikdash full of avoinos, he would bring a carbon, and he would get kapara, and there was no greater simcha for a Jew. Asks the Ben La'ashri, the Medrash says a person enters the Mikdash full of avoinos. Avoinos are mezid. You don't bring a carbon for mezid. What does the Medrash mean? You enter full of avoinos and you exit besimcha. You don't bring a carbon for avoinos. Well, says the Ben La'ashri, we could answer based on the words of the Rambam. The Rambam says that whenever a person stumbles in an avera b'shoigeg, he always stumbled, he always violated that area b'mezid. In other words, don't think, oh, I did this avera b'shoigeg, why did this happen to me? The Rambam says when you violate something b'mezid, Hashem brings your way to violate it b'shoigeg. This is discussed by the Chida and the Midbar Kedemais. However, why did Hashem bring you to a matzav where now you accidentally forgot it was Shabbos and you turned on the light? Why did Hashem do that to you? Because one time you violated Shabbos b'mezid and you didn't do tshuva, so Hashem's reminding you, hey, you got to do tshuva. So now we understand the Medrash. You come into the Beis HaMikdash, molei avoinos. You have intentional sins, and since you have intentional sins, you also have shoigeg. And now, by bringing the carbon for the shoigeg, you remind yourself to do tshuva for the mezid and your molei simcha. The fourth offering, V'ata Tetzaveh. This is amazing. The word V'ata consists of a Vav, Aleph, Taf, and He. Chazal tell us that God's name is not complete, and His throne is not complete, so long as Amalek is in this world. Ki Yad al Kes Ka, Kes Kaf Samach. He's missing the Aleph. Ka, he's missing the Vav and the Hey. Ki Yad al Kes Ka. The Rebbeinu Shalom's name needs tikkun. Why did Amalek come? Why does God's name need tikkun? Because we slackened off in Limud Torah. Vayisu merafidim, vayilachem Yisrael berafidim, rafu yedenu midivrei Torah. But when we learn Torah, especially the Tinoker Shel Beis Rabban, that's Mesake in Hashem's name. V'ata stands for the Vav and the Hey, or the Vav K of the name of Hashem, the Aleph, the case of Kisei. Taf is Tikkun, the Tikkun of the Aleph, and the Vav and the Hey, how does that come? Tetzaveh, when you attach all the missing letters. How do we do that? S, through learning the letters of the Torah, but who specifically? Bnei Yisrael, the children, the Tinoker Shel Beis Rabban. V'ata, if you want to bring a tikkun to the Aleph, the Vav, and the Hey, then Tetzaveh, you need to reconnect S, the letters of the Aleph Beis that are missing. How do you do that? Bnei Yisrael, by teaching Torah, by teaching the Aleph to Taf to Bnei Yisrael. V'ata, you're masaking the Aleph, the Vav, and the Hey. By Tetzaveh, by connecting. Connecting what? The missing letters. How do you connect it? S, by teaching the letters of the Aleph Beis, Bnei Yisrael, to the children of Israel. We move on to Parak Chav Ches, Pasuk Gimel, V'yata tedaber al kol chachmei lev asher milei ruach chachma. And you should speak to all the wise-hearted that are filled with the spirit of wisdom. The Roshei Tevos of these words are Gematria Dishas, 714, to indicate that somebody who is humble and allows himself to be stepped upon, he will be zoiche, that his heart will be filled with great wisdom and ruach of chachma. Comes the Ben La'ashri, offering number 6, Shisha Mishamaisam Al. He references the Baal HaTurim, who says that from this pasuk we see that someone who is a arel leiv, uncircumcised of heart, who has a stuffed up heart, whose heart is cold and callous, Avodas Hashem is pasul for the avodah. Well, says the Ben La'ashri, this is also alluded to in the final words of these, final letters of these words. Shisha mishamaisam al. Shisha ends in a hey. Mishamaisam ends in a mem. Al ends in a lamed. Stands for himayel. Shisha mishamaisam al. That stands for himayel. From there we learn that it's not only is a arel leiv pasul from the avodah, but a arel basar is also pasul from the avodah, and this is the allusion in the Chumash to the imperfection of the arel leiv and the arel basar, and comes the Navi Yechezkel, and he references this idea in Perek Mem Daled Pasuk Tes, Kol arel leiv va'arel basar lo yavai el mikdashi. But this is explicitly enunciated by the Navi Yechezkel, and it comes from the Remez in this week's Parsha, Leka midi deloy ramiza ba'iraisa. Now let us share the seventh and final offering for this week, an amazing Baal HaTurim. Please check out the all Parsha Baal HaTurim shiurim that we analyze this Baal HaTurim in great depth, but the Ben La'ashri has a different take on this. Perek Chavches Pasuk Lamed Hey, we have the words V'nishma koiloi b'voyoi el hakodesh. Literally, the sound of the me'il will be heard when he comes into the Heichal. Baal HaTurim points out 3 times in Tanakh we have the word V'nishma. Na'aseh v'nishma by Kabbalas Torah. We have V'nishma koiloi b'voyoi el hakodesh in this week's Parsha, and in Megillas Esther we have V'nishma piskam hamelch asher ya'aseh b'chol malchusai. Says the holy Ben La'ashri. The connection here is as follows. Through the merit of Na'aseh v'nishma, that we raised ourselves up to the level of Malachi Hashares, Aaron, who was our messenger, was zoicha to be even more elevated than the Malachi Hashares, that his voice is heard when he comes into the Kodesh, meaning he is commanded, make your voice heard when you come into the Kodesh, so that all the Malachi Hasharis have to leave. Like it says in the Yerushalmi on the Pasuk, V'chol Adam lo yeh ba'oyel moyed, even Malachi Hasharis, about who are described as Pnei Adam, cannot be there. So because Klal Yisrael were elevated to the Madrig of Malachi Hasharis at Kabbalas Torah, when they said Na'aseh v'nishma, and the Malachim said, Mi gila razeh, who revealed the secret? This is the secret of Malachi Hasharis. So we were elevated to the level of Malachi Hasharis. So now Aaron's elevated even greater than Malachi Hasharis, so that when he enters the Heichal, he has to give word he's coming, so all the Malachim leave. And in that merit, B'nishma Piskam Hamelech, the verdict and the edict of the King of the world will be heard, namely, that through the activities of Aaron, Vayera Aleichem Kvod Hashem, that through the merit of Aaron, the Shechina resides in the Mishkan. So because we said V'na'aseh v'nishma, and we were elevated to level Malachim, Aaron was promoted above and beyond the Malachim, and through that promotion, when he comes into the Kodesh, the Malachim leave, and in his merit, V'nishma Piskam HaMelech, the Shechina resides in the Mishkan. So wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos, a Freilichem Purim, and Bracha V'Hatzlacha V'chol Tov Tamed.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.